Hey everybody, welcome back to a very special episode of Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
And I'm Bear.
And yeah, this is a pre-taped episode because of, travel conflicts with our schedules.
We wanted to be there for you, so here we are, spending our midnight hours making a video just for you.
Just for you guys. We didn't want to leave you in a lurch. We know that there are literally tens of you who tune in every week and can't get enough. So here we are. Let's talk about it. Do you know that this poor bastard, his Chevy Volt, needed a new battery? What do you suppose that costs?
Well, it's kind of an easy guess because it's right in front of my screen, but $30,000 is insane. I don't know why the battery cost was around $25,000 and then, or $26,853, plus all the other charges for labor and the other items. And oddly enough, the labor on this was only $1,200.
Surprising.
So, yeah. So you're talking about like 6 hours of labor, 6 to 8 hours of labor at a dealership. So
that was the biggest surprise. No, the reason it's so much is because the battery is no longer made. This is they have to order them one at a time, and they charge you. The third party company who manufactures them absolutely charges you.
Yeah, it kind of seems a little bit of price gouging on their part. Like, well, hey, we're the only ones that make it. We're going to charge what we want. But people aren't going to pay that. They're going to get rid of the car, I would think.
Absolutely.
There's no value in keeping the car. Maybe they're also in the business of buying these cars back. Oh, you can buy the battery for $26,000, or we'll buy the car from you for $5,000.
Well, it's obviously out of warranty, so no, just tough luck. Why would they buy it back? They don't want it.
And it's only a 16 kilowatt battery.
Wow, that's that's insane.
A 16 kilowatt battery is just a tiny bit smaller than the battery that's supposed to go in the Electromechanica Solo. I think that's supposed to be 17 kilowatts. The Solo itself is supposed to cost like $18,000. Yeah. So, how do you get a whole car or a whole?
How do you get a battery?
Solo?
A battery plus a bunch of other stuff for half the price.
Right.
So crazy. But there you go.
I guess that's an example of scaling up will reduce your costs.
Not the best car of the year, I will tell you that much. You know what is?
No, I don't.
So apparently, and we apologize, this one slipped under our radar. Car and Driver's 2022 EV of the year. Not car of the year, just the EV. Hyundai Ioniq 5. Bear, you don't have any opinions on the Hyundai Ioniq Quinto, do you?
I think that in order to win this award from Car and Driver, you have to give the author something. This has got to be bought and paid for. I own this car. This color, not this trim level. This is a limited, so it's got some features that I don't have. I do like these wheels. They're cooler than what I got, but the wheels on them are still cool. But there is no way that this car should be car of the year. I know I've talked about it before, and I can continue talking about it. If I've already said something, let me know. I'll find something else to complain about in this car. I will say the good things about this car is well built. It's very solid. It drives nicely. I don't have a problem with any of that. Do you like one pedal driving in your EV?
I enjoy one pedal driving.
Okay. Well, in this car, you have to turn it on every time you put the car in drive, because it defaults out of it and puts you back at a different level. There are 4 different levels, 1, 2, and 3, and it's a paddle shifter on the steering wheel on the left-hand side. When you take the car from park to drive, you have to have your foot off the brake So you can't set it while you're sitting there. You have to start moving, and then you may put it into what's called iPedal. And iPedal is your one pedal driving. Speaking of one pedal driving, you do not have that in reverse. That is not an option. So when you put the car in reverse, your car will roll. So now you have to be ready for your car will roll in reverse, but not in forward once you've actually turned it back on, because it turns itself off every single time.
So can I agree with you when I say here that's dumb. That should be the sort of thing that is easily fixed over the air.
Yes, it absolutely should and could, but it was obviously done on purpose. Just like when I put it into cruise control, it tells me, oh, your iPedal is off. Well, no crap. If I take my foot off the brake, how could it possibly be on? So there are so many buzzers, flashers, dings, warnings on this car that sometimes you think you're going insane because they're coming from all directions and you don't know which one. There's so many of them so many times that you get lost in the confusion of what is dinging at me now. It's constant. Charging this car is like pulling a shark tooth out of your butt. And personal experience, I'm absolutely sure this is very similar. When I charge this car at home, I have to plug it in, and then I have to turn the car on and off 3 to 6 times in order for it to finally start charging. If I'm doing something wrong, maybe I am. I didn't read the 500-page manual, but I'm kind of used to plugging it in and it working. Okay, so that's a problem that I have with it. That's another problem that I have with it. The plastic. You see the plastic on the bottom of that car, the black.
Yes.
It can get dirty and not just clean off. I don't know what. I don't know if it's a porous surface, but I had someone get dirt on it, and I've scrubbed it and I've scrubbed it, and on one side it's gray and hazy. Keep in mind the car has less than 4,000 miles on it, but it just doesn't come clean. There's a lot of plastic, all that trim around the wheel well. It's almost like it's porous to certain materials, and I have to get a special cleaner to actually get it clean. The other side is black. This side is gray. The passenger side is gray. That's a personal pet peeve, and maybe I just need to clean my crap up better. But there are so many issues inside that car as far as ergonomics and functionality that somebody needs to take a step back, and who's never driven the car. They need to put people who've never driven the car and go, okay, what do you think? And people are going to give them honest opinions and not think like, well, if I tell them it's bad, they won't give me the $100. But I could give them some serious feedback on some serious improvements. They can make this car into a rock star if they did it right, if they changed some of the features in there. But absolutely not. It's not the EV car of the year. I'd give this to the Bolt at this point because I have less things I hate about the Bolt than I do about this car. Not selling the car still goes out and earns me money, but no, I got problems with it, and it's not going to stop me also from getting a second one.
What do you think of the interior comfort and styling?
I like the seat. I don't like. I like the dash. Oh, I got one for you on the dash. Try to find a picture of the inside. Okay, the right side of that screen. I've gone down to the interior picture.
Yes.
The right side of that screen is too far away. There are things that you have to press on the right side. Too far away. That should be curved towards the driver. I like the steering wheel has that flat spot on the bottom, because the flat spot, when you keep your hands rested on the bottom of the steering wheel, if you do that, it's better for your wrist, because if you think about having your hands like this, that will give you carpal tunnel if you're on long road trips, because that is keeping your twist on your wrist. So I like cars that have the flat on the bottom of the steering wheel. So I did like that. Okay, so that screen, they've got it shown in black right now. Okay, you have a choice between black or white. Okay, or it's like a gray. I wouldn't call it white. It doesn't get that bright. Great that you have two color choices. But here's the thing: as you're driving down the freeway, you go underneath an underpass at 70 miles per hour, it dims the screen. when you leave the underpass and you go another couple hundred feet, it flashes back to where it was. So as you're driving down the road, your screen is constantly dimming, brightening up, dimming, bright, and not just like a fade into it. It's going boom, 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 boom. So even there's a railroad track that I go underneath on the freeway. A railroad track's not that wide. It's not like a 8 lanes going across the freeway. Just the railroad track. It dims, it brightens up. There's no way to change that. I've been through every setting, every feature. You ever sit underneath an underpass and your headlights come on because the car thinks it's okay? So
that takes a few minutes.
Yeah, it literally has a timer on it. Like there's got to be a timer on these cars because it doesn't happen for like 30 or 45 seconds. So just going under a railroad underpass at 70 miles per hour is enough to dim it. Absolutely stupid. And when it dims, you see that little hazard button right in the middle? That actually comes on for 3 to 5 seconds, and then it goes back off. Very distracting to the driver to have your screen dimming and undimming constantly. You're talking about in an urban area, you're talking about every mile you've got an underpass. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, stop this already. Grow up. You're screwing with my lights.
Okay, we're at about 3 hours on this topic. What else we got?
I got about 7 more hours. So
what else we got this week?
Where do you want to go next?
I don't know. Maybe into Fantasyland.
Fantasyland. Fantasyland. So they're going to be charging a Fantasy Island, and they're going to be charging batteries in 10 minutes. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm. Might only take 5 minutes to fill up the gas tank, but electric vehicles could take 15 to 30 minutes to charge. Yeah, 15, really? Interesting. It's a problem many scientists, I don't know, right? Okay, if you say so, have been trying to fix. Right. And guess what? Everyone has always said they've always got it fixed all the time, and they don't.
I've got it fixed. I just need some more funding.
Well, yeah, that's what this technology can do anything except leave the lab. And yeah, they have plans for a 10-minute charging method, but why is it important? Time is money.
Time is money, and this is one of the things that are preventing people from getting off their ICE car and going to an EV, is the time it takes to charge them up. Since electric vehicles have a shorter range, it just hurts the fact that you have to stop more often for longer amounts of time.
Yeah.
And that is a fact. That is something that needs to be improved before we're going to have complete worldwide adoption without being forced.
Yeah.
Unforced adoption.
Absolutely agree. Big if true, not convinced it's true.
No, not at all. Not yet.
If they've got this technology, they're going to be worth hundreds of billions.
That's the golden ticket. You want to sing the golden ticket song?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Willy Wonka?
Come on, man.
Willy Wonka?
Who?
God, you must remember the one played by Johnny Depp.
Oh, gosh. I've watched that one once, and that's enough. It was fine. I'm good.
No, it wasn't fine.
It was fine.
It was like pissing on my childhood. Can't believe
Well,
they did that.
I've never tried that, so I don't have an adequate comparison.
I don't think you really need to. I think you can get that it wasn't good.
But while we're talking batteries, UK is in the running
Batteries,
for
yes.
for 7 billion pounds of lithium batteries. I think I'm reading that right?
Yeah, that's 7 billion pounds, which is equivalent to something else in U.S. dollars.
Oh, dollars. Oh, I thought they meant weight. Okay, that makes more sense.
Oh, you got the wrong poundage.
Mm-hmm. That's also a thing I have to contend with in my life.
Oh, you bloody oaf. You said the wrong word. It's not a pound. It's a pound.
Yes.
A pound is a stone.
The UK is in the running for an $8 billion US lithium battery gigafactory, squaring up to European peers. I don't know. If you say you are, I'll believe you, but I mean, Prologium, a Taiwanese lithium battery manufacturer, is now scouting for the location of its first major factory in Europe, which will get this investment. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot of money to be pouring into a non-EU country.
I don't know if that matters to them. I would be more concerned with logistics and getting the materials there, and then you have to get the materials out. Where if you plop your factory down into a centrally located place somewhere in Europe, you're going to cut your costs the best, unless it's really far from where your minerals are coming from.
Right. Well, and the import and export logistics and tariffs and whatnot can be problematic.
Could be. I don't know if Britain has much in the way of EV stuff.
Right now?
Boy,
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, you just don't hear that much coming out that has England involved. So.
No. But then again, I don't hear much about their automotive sector overall. And I know they have one.
Well, there's a Jaguar.
Yeah. If you want to buy a... Yeah. Built by a British tractor company. I'm sure it's great.
Lamborghini was a tractor company.
Interesting.
Good comparison there.
Yeah.
Isn't Aston Martin from Britain?
Yes, but are they... I think for EVs they're going to be buying skateboards.
Okay.
Was it Aston? I think it was. But anyway, any other battery news? Or charging news, I should say?
Well, there's just a whole lot of battery stuff. Tritium, I'm going to say that with the English accent since we're still from England. Tritium, they have raised up to $135 million in new funding to accelerate DC fast charging production. Now, I'm familiar with Tritium because they make the chargers for Nikola, or should I say Nikola, as the correct pronunciation goes. And I know that some of their fast chargers can go 350 kilowatts, so they would be a player as far as speed goes, as 350 is a lot.
And that seems like a lot of money. That seems like enough money to get them from wherever they are now to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting. And I'll tell you, there is a serious demand for reliable fast charging.
I would say that it's more than serious, a serious demand, because those guys at EA, I don't know if they think that they work at the place that makes video games or if they work at the place that makes charging stations, because I think the games from EA Sports works a lot better than from EA Charging. So, just saying.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know much about Tritium as far as how well their chargers work. I know that they were chosen by Nikola to. Those are the chargers that they're putting in their mobile charging trailers, and they're selling them for a big chunk of change to large companies that are buying the BEVs.
Interesting. It says they're partnering already with BP and Shell to put in chargers. Nice.
Yes.
I like the sound of that. Those are companies that could very seriously use to begin transitioning.
Yes, and they have more than a buttload of cash.
Yes. And real estate.
True too.
Yeah.
But what do you charge with these chargers? Batteries. And what do batteries need?
Lithium. So this headline got a lot of press last week. We don't have enough lithium globally to meet EV targets, says the CEO of a mining company. But then, of course, the nuance comes out when you actually read it. And he's saying, just to get to the 2030 and 2035 targets, it's just not possible. But then he starts talking about U.S. figures, and the reality is there's enough lithium just in Nevada to do the entire global transition. What they really need, and what he addresses eventually, is we need more permits. We need fast-track permitting. Otherwise, we're going to hit a bottleneck almost immediately. And for U.S.-based lithium, that could be true, but it is a bit sensationalized because he's trying to draw attention to something that directly impacts his personal business.
Well, it is something that's very relevant to say we need X amount of lithium and not be able to produce it because of permits not being issued. It is a way of holding people back.
So, do you know how much lithium is in one car?
It's not a lot. It's
8
probably,
kilograms.
I was going to say a couple pounds.
One of my viewers asked me to consider making a visual representation of how much lithium that is. So for 2 million cars, it would be a cube 100 feet to a side. 100 feet tall, 100 feet on each side. That's 2 million cars. So 20 million cars would be 10 of those. That's not that much lithium.
No, it's not.
For 20 million cars, that would cover most of the U.S.
Yeah, it really would. So, but then it goes back to getting that material. Like I'm looking at this picture of the two miners.
Right?
Is that raw lithium or is that product, other materials mixed with lithium?
So that is almost, it would still have to be refined, but this is the best, cheapest lithium you can get because it is just a dissolved salt. Still has to be refined. The most expensive is when you're getting it out of rock, because then you've got to deal with the rock first.
Yeah.
So this is good stuff. This is probably in Chile?
Yeah.
What does it say there?
It is. It's
Yeah?
in Chile.
Yeah, because
But
that's where they've got the good,
Chile.
cheap stuff. And they still have an awful lot of it.
Yeah, because that 100 by 100 cube, I'm looking at it in this picture.
Right. Right. Yes.
And it looks like it's just right there on the surface. Like, hey man, scoop this up.
Yeah. So it wasn't on the surface. They had to bring it to the surface.
Okay, and then
But
they
it's
just
but
laid
that's what
it
they do
out
is they
there.
pump water in, pull the brine out, and dehydrate it. Just let it
Okay.
dry.
So this is refined.
Yes, but refined. I mean, it's just pumping water into the ground and taking the water back out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
I just
So-
see if I got lithium in my yard.
Maybe. Do you?
I'm gonna go pump some water into it.
One way to find out, I suppose.
Yeah. Got a task for this evening.
Yeah. You might get
But I hope the cops don't get
might
me.
get a visit from the police. Yeah. Beat me to it. So this is a fun one. It's just a one-off test vehicle in the UK for validation. What's interesting to me, now you've seen the yellow and blue check pattern before, I assume. It's pretty common in Europe.
Yeah.
But they added the contour lines back on with tape.
Why do you think they did that?
Well, one of two reasons. One is maybe it's reflective tape, but the other is maybe it's so you can see what kind of car it actually is and know, let your brain better register that it is a car.
As opposed to what?
Well, if they're all,
A horse-drawn carriage?
well, when you remove contour lines, you camouflage. That's the whole point of camouflage, is to hide your contour lines. So I don't know. Maybe the
Okay.
brain doesn't register it quite as effectively without them. Because they put a lot of work making those little gray stripes.
They put a lot of work into making all of it, because you'll notice that they've got cutouts for every little camera and every little sensor. They've literally gone through there and made it exact.
They sure
Uh,
did.
They've gone over the plastic molding over the wheels. They've got the cameras in the doors. They didn't do the mirrors, the back of the mirrors, though, interestingly enough.
I would say, of course not. You don't need it, but all these other ones you don't need either.
Right, right.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. But they must be the only ones electrifying their police force.
oh no,
No?
oh, no. It's not just
The Boulder City.
the guys across the pond. It's the guys in Boulder City that have taken a kind of more reasonable approach to decorating their car for identification purposes. Boulder City has gone ahead and they've gotten a Model Y, and as an owner of a Model Y, I would say that they would make an excellent police car.
And why is that?
Well, you've got the speed to keep up in a chase.
Sure.
Of course, you'll have a range issue just like any other car. But I think the electric cars just running in fleets are going to save so much money that
You got the height for easy in and out.
Yeah, with the Model Y, the height is definitely good. I mean, a 3 or an S would suck because I personally would, if I had to get into a foot chase with someone, I'd have to crawl out of the car and then get up and then go chase the person, which I'd never catch up to anyway.
You remember Larry from Texas? What he
Yes.
pointed out about these is you can't flip them, not like a gas car.
That's
If
true.
if you're trying to pit with this, you're you're way safer than in a non-electric vehicle.
And that's another great point is that these cars are inherently safer because they don't roll, because of the way that they've been constructed. Safety has always been the most important thing about a Tesla. So police vehicles get into accidents a lot, and sometimes it's because they're trying to stop a crime. Sometimes it's because they're on the side of the road giving a ticket out and someone doesn't see them. There's just a lot of reasons why they get into a lot more accidents, but having a safer vehicle is going to be a benefit and will save someone's life at some point.
Yeah, and you don't have to idle all day to keep your electronics running.
It's true also. I've seen police cars running for hours at a time, just sitting there running because they have to have all their lights. We had an incident down the street from my house the other day. There was a storm and a transformer got hit by lightning. And I went out to the road to look at it. It looked like there was 30 cop cars. And we drove down there because we had to get in the way. Turned out there was only 3 cars. And they had so many lights on their cars but they're all running because they had to. You just can't run that much.
Well, I saw one. I was at a street festival, and at both ends of the street they had police cars blocking it off with lights on for added safety, and all of them idled the entire day from sunup to sundown. It's like, man, that's just a lot of waste.
It is, though it does beg to question is how long could you idle an electric car?
Well, you know,
Which
you
is-
could get stuck in a snowstorm and not run out of juice for 3 days staying warm. So I think it would handle the electronics in an officer's patrol car even more capably.
Yeah, I suppose it could.
But are they
Okay.
expensive? Is there even such a thing as a cheap electric car?
No, no,
No.
there is not. But here are the 8 cheapest electric cars with at least 250 miles of range.
Yeah.
So,
So
first is
yeah, we talked
Go
about
ahead.
this off air beforehand and agreed that this whole list is silly. I wouldn't have, if I'd have come up with this article, I'd have started researching it and then stopped. But
Yeah.
please.
So first they go on by showing us cars that are not under the $50,000 range, which I'm not sure why. They've got a Mach-E GT Performance, which is not under $50,000, followed by a $169,000 Lucid Air and a Model S. So none of those are under $50,000. Why are you showing this? I don't know. Another picture of a Model S, and finally we get to a car that actually is under $50,000, which would be the Hyundai Ioniq 5. But they're not quite there yet because they're also going to show us a Polestar. And they haven't started their list. So number 1 is a Chevy Bolt with a price of $25,600, and it says the range is 259 miles. I don't believe that to be correct.
I don't think that's
believe that-
correct.
I believe in order to get to that range, you have to pump up the price. You will still be under $50,000, even if you max this car out. I believe you'll be in the low 40s, maxed out with options and range, but you won't get higher than that 259, and you'll never charge faster than 50 kilowatts because that's all it's capable of doing, which brings me back to shame, shame, shame. Now,
Business Insider has a lot of areas of expertise, but when it comes to electric vehicles, I'm telling you, man, they are not the top of the pile. So
No.
who's next?
The Kona Electric, which I honestly don't know that much about, so I'm not even going to say whether that's wrong or right. But the next one is hilarious that they would even dare to include this. You take this one. This
The
is your
23
favorite car.
Toyota Buzz Forks. This time with semi-attached wheels, I assume. Yeah, it had to recall the couple hundred it sold so far, but on paper, the SUV hangs with rivals from on paper. Yes, on paper, which is also, I'm told, what the ball joints are made out of.
So
It's-
your first puddle. You
yeah,
got.
maybe they're just not taking it seriously. And at 42,000, it's not built in the U.S. The batteries will not be sourced from the U.S. It appears that this vehicle would have no access to any of the EV rebates.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and if you like black fenders, that's going to be the one positive for this car. Still don't know what's going on with that crap.
23 Volkswagen ID4 Pro.
You know what? I'm gonna play dumb on this one. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to play dumb. I'm going to be dumb.
Yeah.
But if you can get it for 42,495, and it gets 275 miles of range, it's a compelling car. We shall see.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is all of these are base prices of the cars, and it's very, very hard to get a car at base price because it means there's zero options on it, and they rarely make cars with zero options. Work trucks, yes. Cars like this, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 SE at $44,000 and 303 miles of range, I believe in order to get that 303, you have to be in the rear-wheel drive configuration with the larger battery pack, and I'm not sure that you're going to be able to buy that car at $44,000.
So the last three vehicles I bought all of them used. They were all minivans. They were all three different kinds. And every single time I looked for a base model, and I never once saw any of them for sale in base configuration. It was always middle to upper middle.
You'll absolutely never find them. They do not make them in a base configuration. You would have to order it. That would be your best opportunity if you could. But
Yeah.
otherwise, they don't want. Why? That's their profit margin. You can't think that adding a Sirius XM for $500 is actually a thing.
Number 5?
Yeah, that was the Hyundai Ioniq 5 SE. Cinco.
Yeah,
The
your
Cinco.
favorite car. Now talk to me real
I
quick.
don't hate it. I don't hate it.
It's just not car of the year. Talk to me real quick about 44,303 miles of range.
Okay, the one I have has the larger battery pack, but it also has all-wheel drive. So you lose and you gain. This car would be considered slow with the rear-wheel drive. It's got a single motor. It's got the smaller battery. It's got the larger battery pack. I don't believe that this is going to be a $44,000 car. It's also the SE model, which is the lowest trim level.
Right.
You
But looked for
but-
the lowest trim.
I didn't.
You did or didn't?
I do not get the lowest.
No,
trim.
but you couldn't get it.
I didn't look for it.
Okay.
I didn't want it. I didn't want it because it's cloth seats. There's no real options in it. There's no safety features. It's something that you buy if that's all you can afford. But if for a few $1,000s more, and it literally is just a few $1,000s more, which will only be $20 more on your monthly payment. Doesn't that sound like you can afford that? You know.
Did you just change my term by 2 years? Yeah, I did. I did. So
Oh, don't.
then we're
Yeah, I changed the interest rate even more, so don't worry about that.
so now we're down to 6 Tesla Model 3. This is on the list of most affordable EVs.
So this would have to be the standard range, right?
Right?
Is that the range for a standard range right now?
I really don't think it is.
I don't think it is. Are you looking?
I'm not.
I'll look real quick because
Good, because I am exhausted. I am so tired.
yeah. Well, we could have a listener or a viewer look real quick.
Yes, let's ask a time traveler to get us that information.
All right.
It says the
Model
long
3
range will get you 350 miles, so maybe that is accurate.
No, it's not. It's off by 5 miles. It's 267.
And
Oh,
you
wait,
won't
let me-
get 267.
Wait, let me change the wheel configuration.
Oh.
Oh, it's 272 with the black
Oh,
wheels.
look at that. Well,
It is-
but again,
Nailed it.
that's the combined cycle EPA, which is the most generous one available in the U.S. But because you won't get that, but on this one you can charge to 100% because the standard range uses the LFP batteries now.
So that is almost the equivalent to the long range, which is not available.
Yes. So
But-
next year, if this is still $46,990, there will be EV credits on it, but not on the battery, but on the vehicle itself. So that will bring the price down a little bit. This is once again not an unaffordable car, I guess, because in 2021 the average new car purchase price was $43,000, up from $35,000 the year before.
All right. Well, that will work. I'll take 6.
Hertz.
Yeah. Speaking of 6, the EV6 is number 7. And I still like the car. I'm still
I like the
disappointed
look
that
of it.
I haven't gotten one yet, so I'm disappointed that I haven't. But I definitely missed out on the tax credit part of that by not getting it. But I'm not sure that this is also accurate. 47.5 with an EPU range of 310. I don't believe that is accurate.
Yeah. But again, 47.5, you're getting into a range of, if these are the most affordable, I'm going to argue, not very affordable.
I agree with
47.5
that.
is out of range for a lot of buyers. Yeah. And then
That
the
is
Polestar
true.
2.
Pulsar 2, 48,400. 270 miles of range at 48.4. I think that price is actually pretty close, though the prices did go up if you're going to order it. So I think that's probably where they're at, because I don't remember off the top of my head. That is why I picked one that was being made as opposed to ordering one, because I knew the prices were going to go up. And they did. They went up. Polestar went up about $3,000 on the base price from 22 to 23.
Huh. Now, at the end of the list here, there are some honorable mentions. The Bolt EUV, even cheaper, 3 miles under the cutoff for the list.
So the difference between the EUV and the EV is
Mostly size. But beyond that, I'm not sure.
I think it was the battery was
Is it?
a little. I thought it was a little bit bigger.
I
When
thought
was
the
at-
EUV was a little bit taller, which is why the range came down.
I'm not sure, but I will tell you this: when I was at the dealership a couple weeks ago, just buying random crap, they had about 7 of these on the lot. So if you want to, and they were all the bolts there were EUVs. There was no missing. None of them were missing the U. They were all EUVs. They were all in the low 40s because they were all optioned out. You are not I just didn't see this car for.
I saw one of these sitting on the lot the other day too. It was the one EV out on the front of the new dealership, and in my town, which is pretty small, that was kind of a surprise to me to see one just sitting there.
Maybe it lost its owner.
Maybe. Honorable mention for the Mach-E Select. Politely disagree.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to impolitely disagree. Why would you leave this car here?
Yeah.
I mean, I've ordered one of these with the 250-mile rating. I'm under 50,000 and I got some options on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not in, and it's going to be built next month. Yay!
Nice.
Hopefully
Nice.
I can find $50,000 to pay for it.
Oh, we are doing awfully good on time. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole list because I shall warn you, I'm running out of steam.
Are you steam powered?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would have thought, if anything, you would have been solar powered.
No, my people come from a very high latitude, so
Well, maybe you're wind powered.
that might be it. That might be it. The age of the car is king is over. The sooner we accept that, the better. I'm not going to go into the deep details on this, but there is this big movement that swears cars are about to be a thing of the past. And I would disagree.
Ditto on that. I disagree also. I think there's a lot of interesting things on here. Facts that are important, like mentioning that in Great Britain, 24,000 people were killed. Oh, wait a minute, that's just a screwed up number. How do you say 24,000 were killed or seriously injured? It's either you break the numbers down. I hate
Right.
that. Okay, but in China, they had numbers for China. China has a lot of fatalities related to cars.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can be said, but that's something that can be solved by full self-driving, autonomy, things like that.
Yeah. And I can agree that that it would be better if everything was mass transit. There are people who grew up and live in New York, spent their whole lives in New York, never got a license. Why would they? Why would you own a car and they get around just fine? But in order for that to work nationwide, let alone worldwide, it would require the reconstruction of all cities, at least the ones going back 100 years. And you go, well, great, but let's plan the new cities that way. Great, let's do that. But in the meantime, we've got 180, 200 million housing units that are spread out. We can't tear them down.
Yeah, well, a lot of these opinions like this often come from people who live in cities and have never really had a use for a car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, you bring up like new cities and new concepts for cities. You did that and you didn't even realize it?
Inside billionaire Mark Lohr's utopian city Tolosa. In the desert, he wants to build a very walkable city. And why in the desert? I assume because the land is pennies on the dollar compared to a real place, and you don't have to cut down trees to build it. But yeah, it'd be great if this is something you can actually do and make happen. Do it, man.
I have seen visions like this all the time
Forever.
over the years about these great cities that are going to cost trillions of dollars, and the centerpiece is going to be a building that's 10,000 feet tall and blah blah blah.
Oh, I thought the center was going to be Epcot. That was the concept.
Yeah, but they never seem to come to fruition.
Yeah.
And I also don't understand what Tolosa will encompass 36 districts across a swath of Nevada. What the hell's a district?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that like
it-
District 19?
Yeah, that's how we get the Hunger Games.
No, District
Oh,
19.
District 19. Feckin' prawns.
Yeah. Oh, you got that one. That was good.
Ah.
I watch it at least once a year to refresh my memory
That's
about
a-
what would really happen if aliens came here.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Uh-huh. Yeah, I love the idea. I love the vision. Get cracking, man. What's stopping you? Yeah.
What's the holdup? Why aren't we done yet?
Yeah. Well, Done, I understand. Why haven't we even started? The problem is the whole chicken before the egg thing. You need jobs to build housing, to build, stores, to have reasons for jobs. Where do you start? Do you start by just building some apartments and hoping enough people move in to support businesses? Maybe.
Maybe that's the housing for the construction workers. But China's done this a lot. They've built cities and then never filled them.
Very few of those ghost cities didn't eventually end up filled. Because in China, they can also tell you to move.
Mm-hmm. They can tell you a lot of things.
They can tell you a lot of things. And you cannot say anything about it.
Yeah.
So grand visions for the future. So, back to reality a bit. Do you know the U.S. agency in charge of developing fossil fuels has a new job cleaning them up?
Office of Fossil Energy and Carbon Management has a new name, new leaders, and a new mandate to meet Joe Biden's climate goals.
Yeah. So,
all right.
I don't have much to say about it except that what could go wrong?
I'll just say it straight up. Someone's going to make a lot of money getting kickbacks from some company that screwed up.
Yeah, I can see there being a revolving door to look the other way.
Yeah.
But at least someone's doing something, hopefully, with some
Somebody's
oversight.
bribing somebody to...
We shall see.
You've got to give it to my cousin. You can't give it to me.
You know what? I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to power through and make this. But let's keep going.
All right.
Pride Group orders 250 e-Cascadia and EM2 electric trucks starting mid-next year.
What is the Pride Group? Because I just keep thinking
no idea.
LGBTQ.
Yeah,
They're not
no
like
idea. No idea.
People.
Yeah, but so this to me is good news. E-Cascadia is Daimler, is that right?
Yeah.
So the good news is these vehicles are being built by established manufacturers with a long track record, and that tells me it will actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Cisco Corporation is already that it may purchase 800 of them. But the neat thing is so it says the e-Cascadia 438 kilowatt hour battery has a range of 230 miles. Now that's interesting to me because the Tesla Semi is rumored to have a 1,000 kilowatt hour battery with 500 miles of range. That's comparable. Those are in the same kind of ballpark on a kilowatt hour per mile basis. And if you look down even further, the second generation Volvo, 275 miles on a 565 kilowatt hour battery. That's in the range. Those are, that tells me if those are real numbers, then they're all real numbers.
Right. I think what we're lacking here is we don't see a price on this.
No, we don't. No, we do not. What I love is that this Semi, 438 kilowatt hour battery, you realize that's less than twice the size of the Hummer EV battery? Actually, it's almost exactly twice the size. That's not good, Hummer.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's something wrong with their efficiency on the Hummer. Because if you get that kind of efficiency on your Blazer, your Equinox, and your Silverado, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You've got to do better.
Do we know the battery size and range on the Nikola?
The battery size is, I believe, 750.
Okay.
The range is 350.
That sounds right. So again, right in the range. The physics are a bit immutable. They're all, in my view, kind of all landing in the same place. You know,
Yes.
Some bigger with longer range, but yeah. Interesting.
And more interesting is Bollinger is now getting some medium-duty electric trucks. So what?
Well, they're still alive. apparently. I wonder how much of this frame is just a carryover from the original truck.
I'm sure it is.
I hope it is, because that's the only way they're going to make it into production.
Yeah, well, they're focusing on this instead of their pickup truck that they'll never make.
And why do you think that is?
Because it's probably easier. They can probably use a lot of things that were already manufactured for other products. The frames could be from another manufacturer. It's like what Nikola did. They took Iveco trucks and modified them. Do not reinvent the wheel. You want to reinvent the electric
The
part.
drivetrain. Buy a frame, buy the wheels and suspension like everyone else, buy a cab, and electrify. I honestly think this is our best path forward. I think the problem with the Bollinger, I don't even want to call it a truck, it was off-road vehicle, was for the price. It was just not a compelling vehicle.
No. And there was something about its looks that were like, okay, maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know.
Did you see the last sentence of this article?
Let's see, about the EV credit?
Yeah, they could get up to a 30% tax credit, up to 40 grand, because this is a heavy-duty commercial vehicle. All of a sudden, if they can actually produce them, they're back in business.
Yeah. That would be a possibility, but again, what's the cost?
Right?
Can you actually
can
make
you
it?
Can you make sure your subsidies go to the right place?
Yeah. No, they probably can't. So
Electric.
speaking of subsidies going to the right place, that was your. Yeah.
Electric cars subsidized by German taxpayers end up on foreign roads?
What did they expect to happen? So the crutch of this is that a lot of the cars that are being made in Germany that were subsidized by the German taxpayers, of course, including Teslas, are now ending up in different places in Europe. And apparently, at least the author of this article is upset about it. I don't know what they expected to do. Did you think, I mean, they still supported German jobs and the German people. It's the subsidies were for the manufacturer, not for them to, or which subsidies are these? Are people coming into Germany and getting the subsidies?
Well, it's saying 6,000 euros per car, depending on certain things. But what I'm saying is this is overblown, because let's say the car is 60,000, you get 6,000 off. If you go to flip it into another country, the 6,000 savings is gone, because I got to get my cut. Then there's the hassle, the transit. It's not worth it.
So that's what's happening. People are just flipping them into.
I don't think so. I think that's what this author is supposing.
Okay. It sounds like a Karen. How do you say Karen in German?
Karen. It's not really a German name.
No, but apparently they still have them.
Yeah. So
98,000 Teslas registered in Germany, and only 76,000 remain on the country's road, meaning every fifth Tesla has left the German market.
That does seem very high. That does seem like an awful lot to be moving out of the country.
Well, they need to have dealer laws. If someone's bought 10 of them and then resold them, then they're a dealer. They shouldn't be getting their subsidies.
Oh, it's saying that large corporate fleets were benefiting from the resale of subsidized electric models. Well, if you're using them for 6 months or a year and then dropping them, I don't know.
You know what? It all comes down to whoever put these laws into effect.
Right. You need to write the laws better.
Yeah. And just like we were talking earlier about the laws, and there's so many pages in the IRA that no one's read it all, and there's got to be conflicting items in that.
But the thing is, Europe is so small. Clean air in your neighbor's country is clean air in your country too. I don't know. And again, luckily this isn't up to us and it doesn't really affect us. So with that, I know we're a couple minutes early, but I am exhausted. So I'm going to say thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. And I think you should do the same.
I will do the same. Okay, so here we go. All my Patreons, I would like to thank you for watching, for being interested. You guys are the ones that I do this for, Patreons only. The other guys are just there. So I want to say thanks to everyone, though, seriously. But really only the Patreons. So thanks for watching. This was pre-recorded. Sorry you guys couldn't comment, but there's a comment section down below, so please do that.
I think that's totally reasonable. And we've both got stuff coming up, but we'll address that on Twitter, and we'll just announce it because this is taped far enough in advance. Let's not overcommit ourselves, huh?
Yeah, good idea.
Bear, as
Thanks
always.
Again, Patreons. Thanks again, Patreons.
Bear, as always, I want to thank you for your time.
And Brian, and thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure as always.
As always. So
we better end this before you pass out.
I am gonna pass out. I'm so tired. I got my flight coming up awfully quick and all that, so I gotta get moving.
All right.
See you guys